for the first time, I saw a physical change in my body, and I felt really good when I hit the stage in my two-piece outfit and I did my little turn. And ultimately, that's what the judges are looking for too, right? Like confidence in what you, not just what you look like, but like, does she feel good? And I did. I felt really good. And all through that week, I had energy. All those things like set me up not just for success to win Miss Nebraska and feel really good, but then I got to go into Miss America feeling like $1 million too, which also was really awesome. And got to go through my whole year feeling very energized and like ready to go. And I traveled almost 50,000 miles and I was healthy.
Do you struggle to stay consistent with healthy eating and just want food decisions to be easy, guilt-free, and sustainable? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Chelsea, nutritionist and fitness coach who overcame restrictive yo-yo dieting and body image insecurities using simple nutrition tools, all backed by biblical principles. And now I help women like you find that same freedom with food so you can feel confident in the look and health of your body for decades to come. I'm ready to dive in with you. So grab that cute notebook you've been hanging on to and let's go. Today, we are joined by the wonderful Raechel Warren. Raechel was Miss Nebraska 2024, and since passing on the title, she has become a Mrs., started her own business to further her Miss Nebraska platform, all while keeping her faith at the center. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? But in our conversation today, we talk about how investing in herself, especially with health and nutrition, has fueled her ambitious drive and how that has helped her stay consistent even now in a new season of life. This is definitely a longer episode than I typically give you, but I think you'll be able to tell just how passionate and genuine Raechel is in everything she does. So I'm excited to share with you our conversation. And now, welcome to the show. Yay, I'm so excited to connect and to chat with you.
Me too.
Long time no see.
I know. Thanks for having me.
You are someone who, when I think about who can I have on the podcast who has a story that I think is relatable, I mean, I think you definitely fit the bill for that, just with where you are with fitness and faith and you're a go-getter, you're a newly married woman. I mean, there's so
A
much to
month.
connect with here.
We've made it a month.
That's insane. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I remember when you guys got engaged and it kind of feels like yesterday, even though my husband and I were only engaged for 6 months. So who am I to say like
Oh,
so fast? But
I love that.
so that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm thrilled for you.
Thank you.
Let's start with just give the listeners some context for how we know each other.
Okay. So, well, I guess two ways. I mean, I have followed you probably since I started competing because I started competing in 2016, which was right before you won. So you were probably one of the first class of women that I kind of followed on social media, roughly right before social media kind of blew up. But I remember watching Miss America that year, and I was an athlete. I had just got injured playing soccer. So I was in college, just got injured, and didn't really know what my life was going to look like. And that was kind of when everything shifted and I really started competing. But I remember watching Miss America, and there was a couple girls your year and the year after, and you were both very fit. You were athletic. You did not look like what maybe someone would think a Miss America girl in a swimsuit would look like necessarily. But I remember being like, oh my gosh, like that's freaking awesome. Like, let's go. Like, she's an athlete. She's rocking it. Like, maybe she looks more built than what they are looking for, but like, that shouldn't matter. She's fit. And being an athlete myself, like that really resonated with me. I remember Miss South Carolina Daja Doll. She also was an athlete. She had larger legs like myself as a soccer player, as a roller skater, and she crushed it too. And I was like, yes, like that resonates with me. I look like that, right? That's what my body looks like. So that's kind of how I remember seeing you. But then as I got older and started competing more seriously, and then you started your business, and I obviously, with being an athlete, you go through different phases of like fitness and nutrition and what does that look like. And like as a soccer player, you are constantly on the go all the time, burning calories. I could eat whatever I wanted. And then when I stopped doing that, I felt like I still had the same metabolism, but obviously my body was changing and I wasn't burning the same energy. And so I felt like I tried different fitness plans. And when I got to this final year, like flash forward, got to this final year of competing, I knew that I needed to do something different because what I was doing, it wasn't that it wasn't working, but it just wasn't anything consistent. It wasn't anything that I felt like I could keep up or that made sense. And so I'd been following you and I loved everything you were talking about because it was so simple. Whole foods, things that made sense. Like you weren't overcomplicating it. And at first I was like, is this too good to be true? Like it can't be as simple as just like eating whole foods proportionately. Like that seems too easy, right? But I remember just being like, you know what? I'm investing in myself this year. I made a few decisions along that line. Like I want this. I want to also be the best version of Raechel because my pageant journey has never just been about like the crown. It was always, okay, I want it. Yes, I want this success, but like, how does that serve me later? Which I'm very grateful for that mentorship throughout my pageant journey. And so I knew that I wanted to invest in myself, not for just now, but for the long run. And so that's when I reached out to you about a consult call because I was like, okay, what, like, got to do something different. And everything you said to me just really spoke to me. And I was so excited to be working with you and you worked with me and you helped me not just for that pageant journey and what I needed in that season, but also again to set me up for like long term. And to the point where, which I'm sure we'll talk about this, I may not be doing the same thing that I was then getting ready for Miss America, Miss Nebraska, but like I always think about you and the Whole Foods and the diamond meal like every day, you know? Like when I put that butter on my plate, I'm like, this is part of the diamond meal. So like everything that you instilled in me and your other clients is just so very practical. And I just love that about your coaching. And that's why I love that you're doing this podcast so that you can reach other women, other people, and help them realize that it's really not as complicated as it's been made out to be.
Well, that pretty much sums up everything I was going to talk about. So thanks.
Okay. You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
No, my heart is so happy though. That's literally why I call it the sustainable way because it's meant to be sustainable and the thing that you can ascribe to for the rest of your life. So to hear that
Mhm.
you are yet another person who is thinking about diamond meals every day and it's not hard and it's
I try my
not extra
best.
effort. Yes, yeah, same. That's amazing. So obviously, there's a lot we can talk about here. We have the Miss America
Mhm.
connection, we have the faith connection, we have
Mhm.
the fitness connection.
Yes.
But you are a graduate of the Sustainable Way, my nutrition coaching program. So I want to
Yeah.
dive in a little bit deeper there. And I'm curious, you touched on this a little bit, just in getting to know you. I know you are generally a pretty healthy person. You've got a lot of knowledge and
Mhm.
awareness about food and exercise, especially being an athlete. Yes, you can
Mhm.
eat whatever you want, but you didn't. You were conscious of
Yeah.
healthy choices. So ultimately, what made you decide to reach out and embark on working together?
Because I felt like I was eating, well, I will say, like, in general, my healthy eating has gotten better the more that you learn, as did anything, right? Like, I always grew up, we didn't have junk food really around the house. Soda was like for summer barbecues. We did have ice cream, but I didn't grow up eating like hamburger helper or anything like that. Sometimes there was stovetop stuffing or macaroni and cheese, but like we ate steaks, we ate fish. My parents hunt. Grew up hunting and fishing, like lots of vegetables from the garden. So relatively speaking, I'm very grateful that I grew up eating pretty well balanced whole foods, not very processed. But as I got older, I recognized that I was eating the right things or some of the right things, but I wasn't seeing the results that I thought I should be seeing from eating those things. And I knew that I could see other people getting results. And so I was trying to figure out like, there's got to just be like some little thing that I'm missing, like maybe too much cardio or not enough weights, or like maybe my portions are out of whack, but like I don't feel like I'm overeating, like those little types of things you're like, I think this is going on. And so I just felt like I knew that because of your pageant experience and what I was looking for, but also the way that you coached through biblical nutrition and just how you went about things, it was so simplistic that I was like, okay, I think that this is who I need to be with to help me break down. Maybe it's the one thing. And to be honest, like there was a few factors, but when I think about maybe what was that one thing that I really learned from you was honestly the portion piece and recognizing like fats, starches, but like breaking those things down so that they didn't seem so intimidating, right? When, as it might be if you do like macros or some of those other things that I had tried and that was not working for me, trying to balance out like, oh, I can have this much condiment on my salad and that suffices for my, like fat content for the day, right? So being able to learn those simple things in an encouraging environment like your sustainable way group with other people that were going through all different phases of life, but listening to them too, like that was really cool. And knowing that no one was alone in maybe some of the choices we were making during the day or things we thought were okay to be doing, it was very encouraging.
Totally. Yeah, doing things that require big change with other people is such a powerful thing. And that's
Hmm.
through scripture everywhere as well. And sometimes, yes, it is just one or two minor little shifts and tweaks. I call it like
Hmm.
turning the radio dial just 1 degree that
Yeah.
you sometimes just need someone outside of your bubble, outside of your picture to take a look at it and say, oh, yeah, let's just
Hmm.
try this. And then that's the magic
Hmm.
pill that fixes everything. So, how was this process, the coaching process, different than what you had done in the past?
A little bit of variation, but like what I had done in the past was mostly focused on macro and micronutrients and like not necessarily counting calories, but like knowing what was your protein intake, how many grams of fat were you eating per day. And I felt I wasn't like, it wasn't a eat this. I didn't have a meal plan or anything like that. That particular coach didn't really believe in that. It was more like, here's just what you need to meet for the day, and here are some great foods to help meet those goals, which was great. So I had that freedom, but I felt very bound in a way because I couldn't figure out how to meet those goals. I'm also a foodie and I love to eat, and like how I could like cook and meet those goals, and like how if I combined all these things to make like a, let's say like a one pot dish, right? Like how did that measure up to meet my protein goals and things like that? And so it felt very complicated, to the point where I was like, ah, whatever, like I'm just not gonna eat that. And maybe that'll be the right decision. And so, and also learning, like, I think we're all learning in this new era that strength training is really important for women. And I knew that, but I didn't really like going to the gym after getting hurt. I was kind of scared of weights, to be honest, scared of putting too much weight, like on my ankle and load bearing and things like that. And so it took a lot of courage to like even get back into lifting. And so even the workout plan that you kind of helped me create, or just even some of the moves that I was taught through working with you were really empowering. And even my mom will tell you, you've never, not just you never looked better, but like it was working. Like she could see it in my face, she could see it in like my energy and all that stuff. And it was like you said, just those like small radio dial tweaks, and simply having you there to be like, yes, that is correct. Or like, oh, maybe instead of this, do that. And not to like keep going, but the meal plans or not meal plans, but the handouts that Chelsea provides in her course are really cool because you explain what types of foods do what things, and like gives you different options. And if you like to create menus, which I season and cook from the heart, but it was a guide of like, ooh, that's a good idea. Oh, I should look for that vegetable. Like I haven't ever tried an eggplant. Okay, like let's try that today. So that type of loose structure, but in more of like a freeing environment, was very helpful.
It's funny you say that. My husband likes to talk about how his rate of rutabaga consumption has exponentially
Oh,
increased since
I've never
knowing
tried
me.
one of those, so see, we should add that to the list.
I mean, it's so fun that way because the point is to give you autonomy with this, right? I want to
Mhm.
coach you for a certain amount of time until you feel free to leave the nest and do
Mhm.
this on your own. And I think the best way to do that is to teach you the formula and the template, the
The fundamental
structure.
things.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so that you can just plug and play the things that you particularly desire. If you don't like rutabaga, then don't have rutabaga in your vegetables. But
Hmm.
here's a million other
Yeah.
options that you can do. Just plug and play as it fits. It's like what are those
Yeah.
books like? Choose Your Own Journey, but
Oh yeah.
within these
Choose your,
guardrails.
yeah, your dream.
That's
Exactly. And
amazing.
like you also helped, I mean, now that I'm married, right? And like just in general, I would cook a lot for Jake. And like when you're on your own doing this type of stuff, sometimes it's easier, right? Because you're just focused on your consumption. But when you're cooking for someone else and you're like, okay, how do I make more of that? How do I make leftovers? And like some of those one pot meals, or and learning how to eat the way you want to eat while still cooking maybe larger quantities. Like that was also really helpful too. And now I got him eating pretty healthy, which was really fun. And now
Good.
he's like, this is delicious, you know? So it's also cool to see how it impacts the other people in your life.
I love it. You're making more disciples.
Yeah.
This is great. This is great. Kind of piggybacking off of that, on this side of the coaching experience and just being a graduate and
Mhm.
learning what you've learned, I want to talk about what you've gained from the experience. And let's start with
Mhm.
how did it have an impact on your Miss Nebraska and Miss America experience?
Oh man. Okay. So like going into Miss Nebraska, so we started working together end of December, January-ish, I think, of 2023. So right before the 2024. Yes, is that's correct? Okay.
Yes.
Um, and so I won Miss Nebraska in June of 2024, I believe. And so I knew I had like 6 months and I was feeling really good. But again, it wasn't just about that, but I just knew I wanted to feel like unstoppable. And I'm a roller skater, and so I also needed to have endurance for that. And just, as a title holder in the Miss America organization, you are constantly going. You're up late, you're on the go, you're driving, you're talking, like you need to have energy all the time. And so it was really important for me to learn how to eat for the long term, like how to eat during the day. What do my meals need to look like? Okay, I'm going to be on the road a lot. So Chelsea and I talked a lot about like how to meal prep for travel, but like also what types of foods could substitute. And like I lived on chomps for a whole year. And you know what? That was great. And that worked. And I
Yeah.
still love them. And like, but that was a great protein source and it fit like that season of life. So learning those, again, those fundamental things, but it was knowing that I was strong. Like it was learning to, even when I was really tired, that a workout, because again, being an athlete where it requires your whole body, I didn't feel like a workout was successful unless I was like sweating from head to toe and my whole body was tired. Not knowing that, like, okay, but lifting really heavy for 5 reps, that was really good. And that was making an impact on my body long term. And I could see that change. Like for the first time in the gym, I saw a physical change in my body. And I felt really good when I hit the
Mhm.
stage in my two-piece outfit and I did my little turn. And ultimately, that's what the judges are looking for too, right? Like confidence in what you, not just what you look like, but like, does she feel good? And I did. I felt really good. And all through that week, I had energy. I knew like what I packed all the right snacks. I knew how much protein I was kind of looking at, or like what made me feel good during the day. So all those things like set me up not just for success to win Miss Nebraska and feel really good, but then I got to go into Miss America feeling like $1 million too, which also was really awesome. And got to go through my whole year feeling very energized and like ready to go. And I traveled almost 50,000 miles and like and I was healthy. I got sick at Miss America. Everyone got sick at Miss America. It was kind of crazy. But honestly, I didn't get sick the rest of the year, Chelsea. And like I really believe that that's from just having these healthy habits and being able to fuel my body correctly, even when it was maybe running on empty from having a long day.
Oh, so much of that I can absolutely relate to. It's just the unless you've been a title holder, you really don't understand how it is quite honestly a
It's wild
24/7,
out
three
there.
six five job. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not just clock in, clock out. I have to focus for these 8 hours. It's anytime you go to an appearance or anytime, especially if you have a marked car, anytime you get out of the car and people know who you are,
Mm,
you have to have that level of energy that is just radiant and sparkly and exuberant.
hmm.
And that can be
Yeah.
hard to manufacture if, especially if you're not fueling your body well. And that
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
translates to every single other profession out there too, on just different
Yeah.
levels. So I love to hear that was your experience and you felt like the rock
Yeah.
star and $1 million going into Miss America
Yeah.
because that's how it should be. That's the only chance we ever have at winning a title
Yeah.
at any level is to just exude
Hmm.
that confidence and just sureness about yourself.
And like
So I
every
love to
outfit
hear
I
that.
wore, like everything I wore. I just felt so good and I didn't drastically change my body. Like I wasn't super skinny and I wasn't like super ripped. Like I wasn't either of those things, but I felt really good for like me. And I loved how the shape of my legs for being skater legs. Like in my skating costume, like I loved how I looked. I loved every outfit I wore, all of that good stuff, right? And like that's what it was about. That I can look back on every single photo and feel like I was so proud of that instead of unfortunately you hear a lot of girls even today after all we've seen and all we know of like, man, like I hated how what I had to do to look like that. Or like, man, that was such a difficult time because of how I dieted to get there. Like that breaks my heart. And I'm just so, so, so grateful that that's not my story. And while yes, that may feel like a memory and hard to get to right now, I know exactly how I did it. And I could feel confident like starting that exact workout plan or whatever right back up again today and feel really good about it. Because at the end of the day, it was a lifestyle for that year. And I'm right now probably diving into your next questions, I'm assuming like trying to figure out what my new lifestyle looks like, but knowing that like that was a choice, right? But I could easily pick up and choose to do those same things and it's not unattainable because it was just a lifestyle. It wasn't like a crash diet or something like that. And I that's what I love.
Amen. Yes. Even just in my own year too, seeing how many of my Miss America sisters physically transformed the opposite
Yeah.
direction after Miss America is so heartbreaking because
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's literally
And
called,
people
well,
look at
when I
that,
could,
right? Like you hear people comment on that too, and that's so sad because it's like our bodies change. But yeah, that's hard.
there's no grace for that in that space. And frankly, I don't know that there should be because the name of that phase of competition is lifestyle and fitness. So
And
this really should
fitness.
be, yes, it
Yeah.
should be the reflection of what you do all the time,
All the
not just this
time.
thing that you do to get ready for the 30 seconds you're on stage. And so to see
Right.
how many people did fall backwards, and yes, it's a hard lifestyle and you're on the road all the time, but that was one of my main motivating factors going into competing is I know how hard this job is going to be, and I want to feel my best the entire time and not look back on the
Mm-hmm.
gazillion pictures I'm going to be in and hate how I looked.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Yeah.
love to hear that you are in the same place that I was, coming out of your year of service where
Yeah.
you look just as good, if not better, than when you won your state title.
Oh, gee, thanks.
I mean, and that's just a testament to the work that you did up front in truly investing in yourself and really getting the tools and the knowledge on how to do this, not just, okay,
Yeah.
follow this exact diet plan for the next 3 months and you'll win. I mean,
Yeah.
in my time, swimsuit, now
The
it's fitness.
yeah.
So, okay, you were right. That was exactly what I want to talk about next, is just the sustainability part. You are almost
Ah, yes.
almost half a year out of almost
Crazy.
half a year out of being, yes, passing on the crown. Time flies.
Yeah.
You had a wedding to get ready for, and now you're an entrepreneur. You're diving into things professionally.
Hmm.
How has the coaching experience impacted this portion of your life, this chapter?
Yeah, I would say real quick to jump into that and piggyback off of what we were just talking about too. The freedom of the sustainable way is really cool because it does allow you to learn those fundamental skills so that you can pick up and it does become a lifestyle versus like, oh, I'm choosing to diet right now, right? And I loved that because as going into a wedding and focusing more on my relationship again, bless Jake. Shout out to Jake. He like really sacrificed big time these last year. We were engaged like the whole year and it was hard, but so being able to, for instance, like go on an ice cream date and not worry, not feeling like the cheat meal. Like you really taught me that too, of like it shouldn't be a cheat meal. Like when we keep that in our mindset as a cheat meal, we're cheating ourselves and that verbiage isn't good mentally and like that's not treating our body as a temple or anything like that. But knowing, okay, I'm gonna have this ice cream, but that's okay because my body can work that out because I've eaten so healthy like the rest of the time. So that was also a huge mental shift that allowed me to like get through the year, at Miss America and enjoy the Chipotle backstage afterwards, but not as like a reward because I hadn't eaten all week long, but as a reward from like, yeah, I feel really good and I'm gonna have that queso dip that's back there, And so like as I got into prepping for the wedding, a lot of girls too are like, okay, I want to look the best in my wedding dress. Like I want to look like $1 million. It's my wedding day, blah, blah, blah. But again, like I was really busy. I was passing down a title. We were moving into a house. I was working really hard trying to kind of recoup all the time I'd been away, planning a wedding. Like there was so much going on. And so, in full transparency, like my workout routine kind of disappeared. I was doing a little bit of yoga. I was doing some bar. I was lifting a little bit, but I had no consistency in my routine. And my consistency came from meals. The consistency that I had that I could hold on to, the control that I had in my schedule was eating healthy. And whether that really be focusing on my breakfast prep or the dinner that I was cooking for Jake and I that night, or making sure what I was eating for lunch that I was focusing, making sure I had that protein, making sure I had a vegetable in every meal, even if it was 2 out of 3, like those little things that I could control. That's what my focus was in these last few months. And that's honestly what it's still been. And now that I'm finally in this season, like for the first time in a very long time, I had a whole week on my calendar that was blank. And I posted about it on Instagram because I was like, wow, this is really cool. And Rachel probably 6 months ago would have been like, I'm not doing enough. I need to fill this calendar. Like, how can I serve? What do I need to be doing? And it was like, no, like your job is to now be a good wife. Your job is to keep a good home. Your job is to cook a good meal. Like your job is to show up well every day and like pray for your spouse and recognizing that like that may not be on a calendar. And so now I'm excited for like this season. I'm calling it a season of rest because I am busy still and but in a different way. And so figuring out what that new schedule is like and like what does a workout routine look like now? Like what does that mean? Does that mean that Jake and we've talked about this? Maybe that's getting up early every morning and going for a walk around the neighborhood. That's been sounding really great. We try to do that every night if he gets home before it's too dark. And maybe that's my exercise for the day, right? Like what does that look like now, even if it looks different than it ever has been? And giving myself grace for like, yeah, I may not be able to like fit in that dress that I wore at Miss America, but like I don't need to, and I fit into this and I feel really good because I'm still eating as good as I can. Like, does that make sense? So it's all like kind of a push and pull, but like I said earlier, I know that if I choose tomorrow, which ironically I've been thinking about this a lot since getting back from the honeymoon and like settling in, I know that I could tomorrow go, okay, I know the exercises I did that made me feel really good. I know the proportions that I was eating. I can go back to my diamond meal worksheet and I can jump right back in and like gear down and go and kind of get and use those fundamental tools to the extent that I want to use them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I love about it, right? Is because like even when I go to cook dinner here in a little bit, it's gonna have a protein, it's gonna have a vegetable. I bought some butternut squash the other day. Do some pan roasting. I've been making my own salad dressing, buying the bag of salad, throwing away the dressing, like those little tools that make you feel really good about what you're doing. Even if you don't necessarily like have something that you're following every single day, like it's those small decisions that add up. And that's the season I'm in right now. But I'm grateful that I have the tools to be in a season like that.
Amazing. Yes. And that's the point, right? When you are a title holder, your whole life revolves around that. You are fully focused on
Hmm.
that. And that is progressing your message as the title holder, competing for the national level or wherever it takes you.
Hmm.
So you have margin to work out for 2 hours every day, to, have the perfectly curated meals when you can, when you're at home in between events,
Hmm.
and your whole life focuses on that. And to
Yeah,
your
it's a
point,
priority.
yes, and you have
Yeah.
the gift of that time and space to do it. So then
Hmm.
when you transition out of that year of service and now you are a wife and you're a businesswoman and the chapter has shifted. Yes, there
Yeah.
there will be changes, of course, because you don't have that time margin anymore. As is right. We need to shift the priority, but
Hmm.
having that foundation and those tools and the simple templates to just plug and play that fits into
Yeah.
this new chapter is what will keep you consistent. And I think I've
Hmm.
told you from the start, nutrition will always push the needle further, faster than any amount of
Yeah.
exercise. Exercise is
Hmm.
important to keep you moving for the rest of your life, but nutrition is the thing
Hmm.
that really will, keep all of your
Hmm.
organs healthy and keep you
Yeah.
alive for longer,
Yeah.
honestly.
And I think that's what's encouraging too and gives you that freedom, right? Is like going back to the salad thing, right? Like knowing that, okay, I'm gonna grab this bag, and I watched you do this. I'm gonna grab this bag of salad from Costco that comes in a 2-pack, and I love the kale and the cabbage and all the things, but that salad dressing is gross because it has all these seed oils in it. So still a quick meal, but now I know how to make my own. And like I said, I'm a seasoned from the heart gal. So I've been experimenting now that I have a little more free time with like different ratios of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice or whatever, right? And like knowing that those little changes are adding up over time and they're healthy for my body and for my spouse's body. And like if that's what I can do today to like be good to myself rather than like eat that salad dressing and know that that's like harming my body and then feeling really guilty about it, like I'm going to make those small changes. And I love that. Like it's just very freeing and it feels very good. Like it's an achievement. If you're a checklist person, it's like, I did it. I did it today. I did the thing today. And like that feels really good, you know? And so, yeah, I love the plug and play thing and just those little easy tips. And like, I didn't have time to make salad dressing 6 months ago, so I just chose not to eat it. But now I'm like, okay, now I have a little bit of luxury I have like that time luxury now. And so I'm gonna like change that up a little bit, you know? So yeah, push and pull, give and take, but it's fun. And I just can't go back enough to say like I'm just grateful for those fundamental skills to keep me on track, even if like life still maybe doesn't have a consistent routine just yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, I forgot. I think we're the same Enneagram, aren't we? We're both threes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, achievers. It's a blessing and a
Yes.
curse.
We love that checklist. We love that
We
accomplishment.
do.
I will write it on the list just so I can check it off.
Check it off. Yes.
Amazing. Amazing. I want to just touch on briefly you mentioned, part of why you wanted to join this journey with me is the biblical
Mhm.
perspective. I know faith is a really important part of your
Yeah.
life. Was there anything that was really surprising to you, or what did you learn with incorporating both food with
Hmm.
your faith?
Honestly, it wasn't, I don't feel like it was anything that I didn't know. It was more just like affirming things that made sense and affirming that this is the way that God intended it to be. I think, well, one of the things, I guess, second part of that that I did learn was like the seasonal eating or like eating in the seasons. And like, I was literally just asking Chelsea about, the root vegetables and we're in the winter and like finding the vegetables for this type of year and like eating for your region and those types of things. And that makes it's almost like duh, like the Lord, certain people were in certain regions and they had access to certain foods and like that makes sense. Like why they would eat those things and maybe not other things or why those particular foods had more nutrients for them because that's what they had access to. Like so that was something that I knew, but I guess I never really thought about. But just like going back to the simple things, like the Lord put animals on this earth to be, for man to have domain over. So why wouldn't eating that meat be good for my body, right? Like why wouldn't having that natural food fuel me? Like that makes sense because that's how the Lord intended it to be. And so again, I think that some things we've overcomplicated and I think our culture is we kind of went, wow. And now we're like, everyone's like, oh, maybe not so much technology. Maybe we should go back to like dumb cell phones. Like all these things, I feel like with the pendulum is kind of swinging back to neutrality a little bit, which I kind of love. And that goes for our food too. It's like, oh, regular butter, just a vegetable, just a meat, frying your French fries in beef tallow. I don't know, like not something processed, you know? So it's like all these things that we've overcomplicated, but really we really have access to because those are the things that God intended for us to eat to fuel ourselves. We didn't need all this extra junk to live well and eat well, you know? So I think it's just more affirming and it's empowering and encouraging and freeing again to know that like again, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be really simple and you can make a really extravagant meal by seasoning it and by having fun with it, but it doesn't have to take a ton of ingredients and it doesn't have to be things that like seem really abstract. It can be real, it can be as simple as a meat, a vegetable, and some seasoning or something.
Yes, preach it, sis. I think just in the journey myself, the overriding message, anytime we try to change the way the Lord designed things,
That's
that's
so
when we get
funny.
into trouble. And that's through all of scripture. Take
Yeah.
that back to the Israelites. God made it really simple for us. He knows
And we
us and
fight
he
it all
knows
the
we need that.
time.
And we
Yeah.
absolutely, we put up a fight. We make it more difficult on ourselves and we end up with all these consequences. And then we're like, but I thought it was more efficient to do it this way. And why are we
Hmm.
all sick? And God's like, just do it the way I told you. And it's really,
Yeah, yeah,
really
it's really
simple.
easy.
Yes. I have
Thank
two
you.
more questions for you.
Okay.
The first one being, what advice would you give someone who is listening to this podcast, who is maybe on the fence about doing the nutrition coaching? Maybe they're thinking, I'm already pretty healthy. Yeah, I'm not totally where
Mhm.
I want to be, but, at least I'm not eating fast food every day. What would you say to that person?
Two parts to this. So one, I would encourage you to do the consultation. Ask some questions and like really figure out, like you said, maybe I'm not eating the fast food every day, but like maybe I need some more accountability in this area. Like Chelsea, I remember you telling me, like when you were a title holder, right? You said, I'm not eating fast food. Like that is a non-negotiable for me. Well, I basically did the same thing, but in Nebraska, I think you know this from being in Iowa, we have runza. And runza is like this, it's like cabbage and meat or like ground beef, and it's really good in the winter. And runza was like the one fast food that I would get if I was on the road and I needed something because it didn't make me feel sick and I got my protein, blah, 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 blah. But like that was a non-negotiable. Like Jimmy John's and runza were like the only things that I would drive through and get. And so, but I needed that encouragement and that accountability of like have that non-negotiable and that's okay. Like if you need to vocalize that to your board of directors in my case, like whatever, have that non-negotiable. So even if you feel like you're really healthy, like I encourage you to do the consult because you may just need to talk it out and being around other people and seeing what this plan has to offer. It's not cookie cutter. It's very flexible to fit what your lifestyle looks like. Like I didn't need to send you a ton of food pics because I was eating relatively healthy. But even seeing, okay, Rachel, that's a really good breakfast, but like add a vegetable here. Like add some leafy greens today, right? So it wasn't like an overhaul, it was that dial adjustment. And so maybe you just need a dial adjustment. But like take that consultation because it could be that little dial adjustment that maybe you've never heard from anyone else before. And on the financial side, I would also encourage you to take the consultation and ask those questions because when you invest in yourself, you're investing long term. You're investing in your future kids, you're investing in your spouse, you're investing in your family. Because if you're healthier and you're around longer, then you can leave your legacy and it just like it dominoes. And so knowing like, and my mom, I'll say this too, like she made a comment to me that she was like, she goes, I think it's really cool that you're investing in yourself. Like you've spent money to do this and you've chosen to spend your money in this way, but I can see the results and the fruit of that. And I'm really grateful because, like, yes, it was that whole pageant season was a tight season, but I'm reaping the benefits of it in so many ways. And I'm grateful that I chose to make that decision because, like, look at these skills that I now have for the rest of my life. So if it is something that you feel like you can afford, or if it even maybe is a stretch, like, I just encourage you to look into it because you will thank yourself later for investing in yourself and making the change because it will only help you out long term.
Ugh, I could not have said it better myself.
Oh,
My brand
thanks.
ambassador.
Happy to help. But I've thought about it a lot because it's like people ask me, like even Jake will say like, wow, like, well, what did that cost or what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, but like listen, like this isn't just a willy-nilly like throwing money around. Like this is long term. And like now I've helped him. Now he's telling his mom at the grocery store, don't buy that butter, mom. Look at the ingredients in it. Like so it ripples, right? Like your actions ripple. And so you aren't just paying the money for like a service, you're paying the money to help impact other people too through your actions. So it's very worth it to me in many ways.
I love this. To shine your light and impact other people, go and make disciples of all nations. And that's
Hmm.
exactly my prayer for this whole thing is I want to spend time
Amen.
coaching you as you desire the coaching. You go and you have an impact on your circle, and then they go have an impact on their circle. And that's how we
Hmm.
change the world. That's how we get
Hmm.
lower prices on grass-fed beef because everyone's demanding it. That is
Yeah,
how that
yeah.
expands because there are not enough hours in the day for me to coach every single person in the world. So
Well,
I'm
and everyone has
so
their own
grateful.
unique story too. And like I may have the pageant or the athlete experience, but like I'm using him again, like Jake has the experience of being someone who had a big toe and never had to worry about what he ate and didn't care. And it was just to the point where like he was just used to feeling a certain way. But when he cut out the soda and then he had it again, he was like, oh, I don't like how I feel, but I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to be feeling this way. So like each person that you coach comes from a different background and like they get to influence someone else that may come from a similar or different
Mhm.
background than they do. And I think that's really cool.
Yes. Yes, and amen. Oh, well, this has been such a fruitful conversation. I am so glad that we were able to
Oh,
connect and just thank you for your honesty and sharing your story and your
yeah.
experience
Thank
through all
you.
of this. My final question for you that I ask all of my guests who come on the podcast
Okay.
is, what is your favorite form of potato?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a mashed potato girl, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. I haven't eaten it this way in a long time, but my favorite meal was steak, mashed potatoes, and corn on the cob. And when I ate mashed potatoes, it would have butter, salt, pepper, and a little bit of ranch. And that was how I used to eat my mashed potatoes. And that was my childhood. Don't know where that came from. I was meant to be in the Midwest, I guess, but yeah, but always mashed. Now with the little potato skins on them, but always
Yeah, yeah.
mashed.
You were a classic Midwest gal with the ranch on there.
I
Wow. What a
know.
plot twist.
Yeah,
Oh,
not anymore, but oh man, lots of potatoes and ranch back in the day.
that's so funny. I just came up with a new ranch recipe, like for a ranch dip I'll have
Ooh,
to share with you. So
okay.
easy, of course, but
We all need a healthy ranch in our lives.
it's true. Amen. Yes. All right, Rachel, if folks want to get in touch with you, what's the easiest way they can do that?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Rachel underscore W, excuse me. Please feel free to follow. I did just start a business and I'm really excited to continue speaking to other young women and just encouraging them in their mentorship and finding their purpose and their journey too. So that's where I hang out.
Amazing. And what's the name of the business?
It's Raechel Warren LLC, Passion to Purpose. So it's really just blossoming my platform in the Miss America organization, and taking it to a new level of continuing that mentorship and speaking to the power of helping young people find mentors and get involved in their passions to ultimately discover their God-given purpose, but also to continue public speaking and helping, shine light to other organizations and helping be a voice for maybe an organization or an event that needs a voice. So I love, love, love to do that. So I'm very excited.
Brilliant. I can tell
Thank
it's
you.
exactly why you became Miss Nebraska. It makes a lot of
Oh,
sense to
thank
me.
you.
So I'm so grateful for you. I will link everything in the show notes to get in touch with Rachel, but thank you for spending some time with me today.
Good to see you, Chelsea. Thank you.
I pray this episode was helpful to you, my friend. If so, could you do me a massive favor and take 30 seconds to write a review? This is the best way to bless me big and help more people learn just how simple eating healthy consistently can be. And if you want more value-packed info from me, head to coachrain.com and sign up for the weekly harvest, my weekly emails filled with recipes, how to use food as medicine, biblical nutrition, and more. That's coachreign.com for the weekly harvest. Blessings until next time, sis. Toodles.